Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we're super happy to have you here. And if you've been listening and enjoying for a while, I would be super grateful if you would please take a moment to give us a review on Apple Podcasts. It's one of the best and simplest ways to pay it forward and help others find the show so that they too can tap into the powerful perspectives and positive vibrations we are collectively emanating. The other unique and magical way to share this show is by sending any friends you think would benefit from listening to this podcast our Game with the Universe link at positivehead.com/game. Also listed in the show notes, which will serve them up a quote-unquote random episode when they click it. Just instruct them before clicking the link to close their eyes for a moment and sincerely ask the universe to queue up the episode that contains the insight and perspectives that they most need to hear at this point in their life journey, and then click to listen to whatever episode is synchronistically served up to them. I have heard time and time again from people about the incredible results they received playing the game. So just tell your friends magical results are guaranteed or their karma back.
All right, all you positive heads, welcome one and all. I am super excited you've joined me on this magical today. Today, I've been thinking about the journey that I've been on. If you've been listening to any of the shows I've done over the last couple weeks, you've heard a little bit about the journey that I've been on. And throughout this journey, I've been thinking about the journey, our human journey, our soul's journey, and our purpose here, and what this journey is like for all of us. There is not a single one of us that doesn't have these cycles to our journey. This journey is cyclical. This journey is daily. We don't get an end point. We don't have a place that we're going to arrive and stay there. We always continue. What's fascinating to me about this journey and about its cyclical nature is that we get in these places where we feel like, is this it? Is it ever going to be different than this? And the thing is, it always is. Whether that thing right now is good or bad to our perspective in the moment, it always changes. And I think it's important to remind ourselves that whatever we are experiencing in the present moment, it is part of our cycle and it will change. So if we're experiencing something really wonderful and harmonious right now, to remember to be grateful for this moment, for this part of the cycle. Because when we get to the other end of the cycle, where it doesn't feel so harmonious and so wonderful, we can remember that, oh yeah, I will get to that place in the cycle again where it will feel harmonious again. This journey is a dualistic one, filled with all types of different dualities: the light, the dark, the giving, the receiving, the male, the female, all of the different ways that we get to experience what is within us and balance these things within ourselves. When we are able to balance these things within ourselves, then we do find our cycles to be more harmonious overall. This journey doesn't happen without these cycles, without this duality. For example, without the cycle of life and death, we would not have this journey. This cycle of life and death is actually what sustains our life. This is something that I thought about while walking through the redwood forest. Forest, as Brian reminds me, it's not a forest in my Philadelphia accent, my home accent. I haven't lived there for 20 plus years, but I still call it a forest. And out here on the West Coast, that's inappropriate. It's a forest. But when I was traveling through the redwood forest, in my way, I was watching all of the trees who had fallen and died supporting new life. And it made me realize that we ourselves, we need death in order for us to survive. We don't eat unless something else dies, and that is plant or animal. Something has to die in order for us to survive. It's an interesting thought, isn't it? It's the cycles that keep us going. And we think when we think of a cycle that it's a circle, and it's not a circle, it's circular, but it's more of a vortex type movement to where it cycles and moves. Hopefully, we're moving up and up and up in each and every cycle so that when that energy does come back around, we're dealing with it differently. We're on a higher, more evolved plane because through going through all of these experiences, we're learning how to handle it better. We're learning to harmonize these aspects within ourselves, these light and dark aspects within ourselves. Without these dualities, we wouldn't learn. We wouldn't have a journey. So it's interesting to think about that, especially when we're going through that death aspect of the cycle, the part that's mucky and ugly and not so easy, that it is all sustaining us. It's helping us grow. It's helping us understand ourselves, learn about ourselves, because that is why we're here. We're here to understand and learn and experience so that we can grow and evolve, so that ultimately we can go back to where we came from, back to the great central sun, the great Father, or as some would like to refer to as God, the oneness, the unity that we all are, where we all come from and where we all go back to. We leave so we can come out and have all of these experiences to remember what we already know, but it's boring if we just stay there and know it all the time and not have any experience. I know this because I personally experienced going back to source within my own mind, within my own memory, because we can all do this. We can go places in our minds because we've been there before and we have access to these memories. We're just veiled from them. And my experience in source was, this is boring. I want to go out and do something. And so once we do that, we come out and we experience. And here on earth in this 3D reality, we experience duality. And we're here learning to harmonize and balance these aspects within ourselves. Everything that surrounds us, in everything that we're learning, in all different metaphysical, spiritual, even religious aspects, has to do with duality, with the light and the dark aspects within ourselves. This divine union within ourselves. And the one person that we all know throughout time who has exemplified this divine union within themselves is Jesus. And his message has stood the test of time because he knew, he understood this harmony and balanced these aspects within himself and was trying to teach us how to do the same. Today, while thinking about this journey and these beautiful divine aspects that we are all learning to balance and harmonize within ourselves, I thought about the Nag Hammadi scriptures. This is one of my favorite go-to books for the sayings of Jesus because it wasn't tampered with. These writings were found in the 1940s and they were found near the Dead Sea Scrolls. They were written by those who knew Jesus, who spent time with Jesus, and some of these people were disciples of Jesus. The one that I always go to, I really love a lot, is the Gospel of Thomas, because there is so much of Jesus's wisdom in this gospel. And so I want to share just a few of the things that are in here because it pertains to this journey and what we're talking about today. And you've heard a lot of these things before, and to hear them in a different way, the way they were actually written, because some of these sayings and some of these stories were changed throughout time. So I'm just going to pick a few of the sayings and see how many we can get through and talk about them a little bit. This first one, it says, Jesus said, "If your leaders say to you, 'Look, the kingdom is in heaven,' then the birds of heaven will precede you. If they say to you, 'It is in the sea,' then the fish will precede you. Rather, the kingdom is inside you and it is outside you. When you know yourselves, then you will be known, and you will understand that you are children of the living Father." When we know ourselves, then we will understand that we are children of the living Father. When we truly know ourselves, that means when we understand all of the aspects within ourselves, understand, accept all of the aspects within ourselves. When we truly know ourselves, then we understand we are aspects of this living light, this living golden sun, this Father's Son, where we all come from. The more we understand ourselves in this divine union within ourselves, we understand that this is who we are. This is where we came from. We are children of this light. It is inside of you and outside of you. What is above is below, and what is below is above. Last week, I talked about the exercise of looking outside whatever you see in your external environment for 5 internal signs, messages for you that are important for your internal self, your spirit self, your mental and emotional self. All of these mirrors are externally available to us at all times. So we can look externally to learn about the inside, and we can also look inside to learn about the outside, because it is all mirrored. There's not a single thing in this creation that is not mirrored because of this concept of as above, so below. We are all mirrors of one another. We are mirrors of our environment. We are mirrors of our situations. When we remember to look at it this way, we have this opportunity for growth and learning all around us. Every time something triggers us, we can say, hey, something I need to learn. Thank you, trigger. I've come to a place where I really kind of enjoy triggering people, not purposefully, but when I do it by accident, just because whatever it is within me, instead of being upset that I've triggered someone for some unknown reason that has nothing to do with me, I've come to the realization of, well, good, that was wonderful for them. Hopefully they take it in and use it as a learning experience. And so you're welcome. You're welcome for the trigger. It feels a whole lot better than taking it upon myself. So maybe you all can use that if you're feeling that maybe you feel bad for unknowingly triggering someone just by being who you are, which there's no apologies for that one. Being who we are is never something to apologize for. And if it triggers someone else, then so be it. You're just there to be a mirror for them, to recognize something within themselves that they need to recognize. And so you're welcome. Remember, too, we're all just walking each other home in all of these different ways. We're all helping each other, whether we're playing a victim role or a helper role or a persecutor role. We've all agreed to play these roles. And in the end, when this 3D journey is over, we will understand all of that. We'll be able to see it more clearly. So let's get on to another one. Jesus was asked about the kingdom of heaven and to explain it. First, he was asked, tell us how our end will be. Jesus said, have you discovered the beginning, then, so that you are seeking the end? For where the beginning is, the end will be. And what I think he means there is, of course, what we've been talking about, that we all came from this creator light, from this light of the great central sun, the great Father, and that is where we will all go back to. And we get there first by starting in this reality, by uniting these aspects within ourselves. And so this next passage says, Jesus saw some babies nursing. He said to his disciples, these nursing babies are like those who enter the kingdom. They said to him, then shall we enter the kingdom as babies? Jesus said to them, when you make the two into one, and when you make the inner like the outer, and the outer like the inner, and the upper like the lower, and when you make male and female into a single one, so that the male will not be male, nor the female be female. When you make eyes in the place of an eye, a hand in the place of a hand, a foot in place of a foot, an image in the place of an image, then you will enter the kingdom. So what I think he's referring to there, of course, is this divine union within ourselves of these masculine and feminine parts. And when we do unify these light and dark aspects, then we are no longer a dualistic being, we will enter this kingdom. There is no duality in the great central sun. It is all one. We separate from that to experience duality. So when we've unified ourselves again, we are able to go back to the oneness, to the unity. And here's another of Jesus speaking specifically about the light that we come from. Jesus said, "If they say to you, 'Where have you come from?' say to them, 'We have come from the light, from the place where the light came into being by itself, established itself, and appeared in their image.' If they say to you, 'Is it you?' say, 'We are its children, and we are the chosen of the living Father.' If they ask you, 'What is the evidence of your Father in you?' say to them, 'It is motion and rest.'" Wow, that is certainly not in our Holy Bible, is it? That we come from the light, the place where the light came into being by itself and established itself, and we appeared in this image. We are its children. Its evidence is around us everywhere in all of our energy, in motion and in rest. That's basically describing energy as we know it. We have energy that moves and energy that rests. That's all we have, motion and rest. It's all around us. And just a couple more. Jesus said, "When you make the two into one, you will become children of humanity. And when you say, 'Mountain, move from here,' it will move." I love that. That is showing us how strong we are when we unite these aspects within ourselves. We become more childlike. We play more. We have more fun. We are children of humanity. We're supposed to be childlike, play, have fun. If we don't do this, I think it might be hard to unite these aspects within ourselves. The higher self is always telling my clients this. Jesus is obviously saying it right here in these scriptures. And I, for one, think that's a great idea because why not? Fun is fun, right? All right, last one. The disciples said to him, "When will the kingdom come? It will not come by watching for it. It will not be said, 'Look, here it is,' or 'Look, there it is.' Rather, the Father's kingdom is spread out upon the earth, and people do not see it." Right in front of our faces, all the time, inside of us, outside of us, in motion and at rest, right in front of our nose, hidden in plain sight. All of the sayings right in front of us. All we need to do is remember, recognize, and live it. I love you all so much. I'm going to leave you with this song by Symbolico called "The Divine Purpose." Until next time, I love you all.
Nothing that is of value, nothing that is real, is ever lost. You are here to enable the divine purpose of the universe to unfold. That is how important you are. real is ever lost. You are here to enable the divine purpose of the universe to unfold. That is how important you are. The ultimate purpose of the world lies not within the world, but in transcendence of the world. It is through the world and ultimately through you that the unmanifested knows itself.